Bear.
Good evening, everybody. Matt Geary here for Geek Pride's Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition campaign, The Legend of Our Sacrifice. With me tonight, we have Conrad as Arno Jerkel.
Hello.
God. We have Jace as Brother Gaiden.
Hello.
We have Lecky as Bartholomew Pringle.
Okay.
We have Marcus Lance.
Ah!
And we have Vic. We have Vic as Saren Sanguine.
Hello.
Right. Okay. So, had a rather exciting exit. Well, we say exit. Val, aka Wes, was meant to sort of kind of say his goodbyes today, but got stuck in work. So we're gonna have to say our goodbyes to him. And we're gonna do it in an NPC sort of way. So, we had Valashil take himself off with the orders that he received from Brother Gaden. Gaden. Is it Gaden or Gaden? How do I pronounce it?
Gaden.
Gaden. Brother Gaden. Took himself off of the orders. He sat down in a sort of kind of back alley and started reading them. Some interesting gentleman said, you know, what's nice spear you've got? Turns out they were demons sent by the archdemon Galmarath to find him, basically. He basically got surrounded, was getting ganked. He set fire to a few buildings. Arno saw the fire, basically went in to sort of try and deal with the situation, sent his oil off to find the others. They came in. A rescue was, I wasn't say attempted because it was successful. You're successful in helping sort of put an end to the demon incursion. Valashul ended the final sort of main demon with a spear to his body before he sort of turned into an ashen mess on the ground. He basically cackled that this land he knows where he is, that their master, their boss, is going to find them. He's going to take his spear back and he's going to destroy Balon when he's there. This obviously made Valashul feel slightly uneasy, and he said to the group that he needed to go off and pray while he had to think about what he was going to do. And that's pretty much it. You're all effectively in this sort of alleyway, though we could probably move it on from here, but we'll say for now you're in the alleyway, and Valashul is... no, actually, I'm not going to overcomplicate it. Right, you're all in the alleyway. Valashul's basically said he needs to think about this. Arno, you basically said you're going to leave, aren't you? And he's not really replied. He's just sort of put his head down and sort of started to wander off. So we'll go from there. Who's up first?
I think we left it with me just sort of stomping off. So I'll stomp off and see Brother Gaden as he's. I guess you were helping the innocents, weren't you?
Oh, that's right. You were all helping with the putting the fire out and dealing with any injured people who had been burned.
So I guess if you were there and you looked up, you'd see Arno just sort of stomping past through the alleyway.
So at this point here, he would have probably tended to somebody who had just come out of the house, one of the burning houses, screaming, and he does notice Arno, so he's going to turn and can you see that he's in distress? Like,
you can roll me you can roll me a not a perception, a
insight.
Yeah, you can give me an insight check.
Right, 1 second, because I think somewhere along the way, every time I try to roll an insight check, it closes my thing. That's great. This is going to be interesting. Let's see how this goes. Insight check. Come on. Excuse me.
By the way, you can get a Roll20 app on your phone, which you can do all the rolls if you want to do. Yeah.
What?
I think your baseline on Arno is not much past this, unfortunately. So you just think he's a grumpy guy dealing with a lot of shit. But you'll see his sort of head down. I don't know, Matt. What do you think? 13.
Yeah, I'm not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna. You know. Yeah.
I think.
Yeah,
you'll see that he's upset about something.
Yeah. You're not fully in tune with it because you're distracted with what you're doing, but you can tell he's sort of he's upset about something.
And then so he will he will catch the halfling and he says, "Look, before you decide to escape, you and me are having some chat time here. I can see you're disgruntled." Does Arno
He'll sort of look at you out of the corner of his eyes and just sort of grunt and try and walk past. And he says,
yes.
Not now.
No, of course not. I'm busy going to help these people here. They're more in desperate need than you are. You're fine. Anyways, I'm gonna go help out this barbecue lady. And
Arno will also sort of start walking past, and if there are still injured people, he will lend a helping hand to them as well.
Okay. Vic, what are you up to?
I'm going to help Brother Gavin because I can't leave this guy alone for 5 minutes without anything happening, apparently.
Okay. Lance and Bartholomew, what are you guys up to?
I'm going to go and start helping to clear rubble and freeing people and stuff and just clearing up.
Then after seeing everyone's example of helping people around them, Barty looks a little shifty and then resigns himself to casting like Ward and Wind to try and get rid of these flames.
But you make them worse!
Yeah, great idea. Let's blow on the bonfire.
Part of the spell is written is that it will extinguish flames.
Okay.
Just want to put it out there. Avoid them shaping water.
Okay.
I would love you to roll on that.
Okay.
It's like, no one liked this in anyway. It was shit all.
So I'll sort of kind of expedite this sort of situation. So you spend the next sort of couple of hours tending to the wounded, putting the fire out, helping that's one thing I forgot to do. I forgot to do what's on the bodies, and there was something I was meant to do. I completely forgot.
Oh yeah,
I was meant to find because I
put it in the chat afterwards.
Yeah. I'll
Them demons carry.
Yeah,
You
well,
just can't get the DMs.
Yeah, there you go. I was like, I don't think there's not much need to do today, and I was like, oh yeah, okay, and then it just came to me. But anyway, yes, so the fire goes out. You get a help from the sort of kind of local city watch. You are all sort of sitting down, coughing because of the smoke and stuff, but sort of having a bit of a rest. And Valashul returns, looking slightly determined, but sad. He comes up to the group and says, "It is with a heavy heart I must leave. I must leave you all." And he sort of looks at Arno and he says, "This is not your fault, Halfling. This is something I have to do."
Arno stays silent.
Anybody else say anything?
I take it. Well, they're all in the group together, right?
Yeah, you're all sort of around, sort of sitting on some boxes and stuff, having a bit of a rest.
Gadden pokes Arno and he says, "Look, he's saying it's not your fault, so stop being so glib about it, okay? Say goodbye to your friend. He goes off to fight a valiant battle against some demons, and you want to give him the coldest shoulder alive? Jeez, if you're my lover, I'd be questioning my existence right now."
I'm pretty sure if you were his mother, he'd be questioning his existence right now and looking for a tail.
I think
Did you say mother or lover?
He said lover.
Yeah.
Okay.
By the way,
Mother.
you as it comes, brother Gaddon's the only one who has a sort of vague idea what he's doing or why he's going. I'm not sure with his orders. I don't think Arno. He told you. Did he tell you about Galmarath? Yeah. He told you about Galmarath.
Sort of briefly, very sort of loose details on it, but Arno doesn't have the kind of knowledge that I guess only Lance at this point and Tharavel would have on the past. But
they don't. They are not aware of Galmarath. I don't think really.
Okay.
Yeah, he's. You know, I guess it would be sort of. It's more to do with the Legion and stuff. It's to do with his father and. Before I carry on with Valshul, does anybody else have anything to say, or?
I stride over to Val and reach out and take his forearm, and say, "It would be better if we could carry on together, but I don't think that you would be making this decision lightly. So, I hope that all goes well, and hopefully we will meet and journey again together soon."
Anything from anybody else?
Barty will just like sort of look over, smile, and says, "We're so close in my research to get you home. You could start your weird angel army."
You get a very rare sort of grin from his face, and he says, "You'll be glad to know then, wizard, that I have been promoted, and I am the it's not a legate, it is a tribune. I am a tribune of the Legion now, and my army is the reason I leave." He says, my mission was to protect Salden's sister, and he sort of takes out the shell. He does still have the shell, doesn't he? He still had that shell from the start, Lance, doesn't he? Yeah, we'll say he does. For we can always ring. But he brings out the shell that he was given, and he hands it to Lance, and he says, "I'll pass this on to you. Make sure you protect her, and make sure you protect these and he says please protect our friends." And he sort of it's not a begrudging thing, but he you know what he's like, he's very sort of he's very when it comes to emotions and stuff like that, he doesn't have that, but he says our friends. If I stay, then Galmarath will find me, and only more destruction will be wrought on this land, and everything we have fought for and everything we have done to bring justice and light to this land will end, and it will only lead to she who shall not be named taking dominance within this land, and we cannot let that happen. I must go back. I must take control of my legion and find him and deal with him before he brings his forces here. This was but a vanguard of what could come. I therefore, with a heavy heart, will leave. But know this, I will come back. When you need me, I will bring the Legion, and in the final battle, we shall bring her down, and we shall win freedom and light for all of Freya." And he does a salute with Holy Avenger, and he sort of puts he gives you all a bit of a bow.
Until then, travel well and try not to get yourself killed.
He looks at Valashul and Gadden sort of smirks and says, Don't you worry if you're a bit anxious about how everybody else in this party is going to do. It'll be fine. You go out there, you smite your demon, and we shall see you at the final fight. And when you do see Dickface McDickface, you just tell him that I told him to fuck you as well, and then shove the Avenger in his ass or something.
I'm giving Gad serious side eye right now.
he again he sort of grins, which he's not used to doing, but he nods his head as he sort of kind of looks around, and he says, tell the brothers, tell the elves that I will miss them and to stay safe until I return. I will be very upset if I see them in my realm before I get to see them in yours.
I think I can probably speak on behalf of Val and his brother in saying, you might miss them, but I'm pretty sure they don't intend to miss you if they're aiming.
Ooh.
Okay. As he sits there, he sort of takes Holy Avenger and he turns to Brother Gadden and says, "Here," and he sort of passes it to you, as he says, "Legion brother, I have my father's spear. It is with that I am destined to defeat Galmarath. Holy Avenger will. Holy Avenger has. What's the word? Holy Avenger has served me well. May it serve you well as well." And he hands it to you.
Is it a longsword?
It's a sword. Yeah, longsword.
Okay, cool. So he just handles it fumbly because he's like, I'm very touched, my brother, but also very not proficient in such weapon. Maybe I'll just keep it for now for safekeeping until somebody can do
he
this.
sort of gives you that. He gives that look, and he says, "Well, if you know," and he sort of kind of before you take it, he says, they didn't teach you swordsmanship in the Legion," and he sort of takes it.
No, it's not that they didn't teach me it. It's just I chose not to learn, because if I had to learn how to fight swords, I wouldn't be able to cast the spells I know.
Yeah. Okay.
So...
I just lean over and discreetly whisper in Brother Gadden's ear, sticking with the pointy end.
No, I don't.
He says, "Okay." He smiles and he says, "Okay. I entrust it to you to give it to somebody of worth. Then
I'll figure it out. Don't you worry. Go.
Okay.
Don't throw out this sad departure. I'm gonna get teary.
Okay. So he hands you Holy Avenger to sort of under the proviso that you gift it to somebody of worth at some point in time, and he sort of bows his head, looks up into the sky, and the sort of golden light sort of kind of smashes down onto the ground surrounding you. The battle angel Azrael appears with some legionnaires beside him. They give you, Brother Gadden, a chest salute. They bow, and then they turn around to Tribune Nostius and say, "Tribune, we must go." He sort of takes one look at you again, bows his head, and then as quickly as they came within the golden light, they disappear. And so ends the tale of Valashul Nostius until, well, later on, I guess.
Arno will sigh deeply and just mutter, "Do not die, Paladin."
Oh, and if he does, he's gonna die a glorious death. Like, make sure he's like fist deep in the demon that decided to come and mess with us. That's something good, right? Don't be so.
Look,
you may
do you
be
know?
confusing. Sorry.
I was
You may
just
be
saying-
confusing business with pleasure there, my brother.
No, this is this both. Execution in many ways in one. Where the Legionnaires have such a grim job of being able to expunge the world of darkness. The least that we can do is make light of it by saying something filthy and ridiculous.
Arno just turns to Brother Garden and says, "Do you know how not to talk?"
If you want me to.
I place a hand on Brother Gad and sort of reach up and like place a hand on him. I don't think they're quite used to you yet, my friend.
I'm figuring that out. I'm sorry. I'll tone it down a bit. Saren, when we have time, I need to let it out. It's too much.
As long as you do it in private.
Okay, I guess.
I'll find you a wall to talk to, brother.
One that would listen to the chant of the unyielding light?
Yes, I'm sure I can manage that.
You know what I'm going to do? I think once we're all done with this, I'm going to find a chapel and preach. That's probably what I'm going to need to do to get this excess energy out. I'm too chatty right now.
I'm sure we can find one or two that are happy. Will be happy to have a little bit of assistance.
Thank you very much. Okay, cool. So, what are we doing now?
Okay, so he goes and you've got a lot of sort of people gawping and sort of yabbering away, and you're standing there. I'm going to let's see, where is the bloody bookmark gone to? There's bookmark. And where the hell did that go? Okay. There. So, I'm just going to stick it on there, so... Alright, so you're still within the city. You have effectively two quest lines that you can attempt. You can go to... in fact, that's probably a good idea if I put the map back up again. Where is it? It was this one. Oh, if I can not zoom past it. Slowly. Too slow. Too fast. Oh my god! There we go.
Just don't push the red button.
Yeah, there we go. Okay, so you've got, and I'm going to, everybody from at home will be able to see this. So you can make your way to Jor Ithrasta, which is in the bottom right-hand side of your map there, to deal with Kiamat Red Scale and try and retrieve your friend's body back, or you can make your way to the Somnium Enclave in the west there, which is that sort of floating island, which is near the town of Garleyhold. So that's your sort of your two current directions. Obviously, the Somnium Enclave is where you would bring the vessel, your relic, if you wish to, or you can go in and try and get Draken's body back and deal a blow to the corruption as well, taking out one of the lieutenants. You also have to bear in mind that is deep in enemy territory if you're going in that direction.
I think that because of how we discovered this information, only Arno will know that he has found a lead on where the body has been taken.
That's true.
This point.
Yep, that's true.
Likewise, he doesn't know what Barty and Brother Garden had discovered about the other ones. So
okay, do you want to have a bit of a chat with each other then?
That sounds like a good option, doesn't it? We need to get up to speed.
Yep.
Should we find a private room with ale?
Well, it's a bit
Please?
safer now that we don't
Matters.
have. The ale part is much safer now that we don't. Now that Valashaw's taken himself off, I must admit.
I haven't. Well, Saren is yet to discover to demonstrate her proclivity in getting inebriated, but something to me, you're not very good at being drunk. Are you?
It's
sweetie?
fine. Unlike Val, she's small enough to be easy to carry if she gets herself drunk off her ass.
Oh,
The problem with the paladin that's really encased in armor is he makes a lot of noise and doesn't fit easily through doorways when he's flailing around.
You have a wizard. Does he not know use enlarge or reduce size?
Oh, we did that.
That's not what-
They used that, and the last wizard did that on me. Messed up my plans, reducing things to small sizes and stopping me from messing with them.
He got upset. Yeah, he got a little bit upset. Matt gets very upset on occasion when we find ways that he hasn't thought of to break his clever tricks.
I was trying to split them up, and I was like, "Oh, this is foolproof." And they went, "So is this rock connected to the rest of the rocks?" And I was like, "No, it's like a big slab. I reduce it in size." I was like, "You motherfucker!"
If he meant bad behaviors, then okay, we can't count for that yet. But if it means just not being able to handle a drink, it's fine. I think we're all good here. Yeah.
That's fine.
And she can drink most of the people under the table anyway.
I'm
Well,
looking
to be
at him
fair-
like, what? You are worse than me with drink.
I just turn and I look at Sarah and I look at the tables and I say, to be fair, she has got a head start.
I like this man. He's very good. Even though he's tin, he's like, metal. It's good.
I
Funny.
cross my hands and I look at Lance. I'm like, really?
It
That's-
is not my fault you are vertically challenged.
He has a point. On that note, should we go find somewhere private to have our discussions?
Yes.
That would probably be an idea.
Okay.
If nothing else, privacy would probably be a good idea.
You take yourself back to the local inn.
You'll see Arno at the corner of your eye, sort of frowning at you at your vertically challenged comment.
God,
And I turn to Anna and just say,
making friends already.
okay, so she's halfway there, you're 2/3 of the way there. It's not much.
Does that make me 120% over? I don't know.
I
That
look
makes
at
you more
Arno
of a
and I
silly
go, would
knocker.
you like to stab him for that comment or shall I?
You seem to be the one with the daggers.
Okay,
so are we going back to the tavern we were just in, or did that actually burn down?
No, that was behind. It's fine. The
Okay.
tavern,
It's
the
more
tavern
fire
sort of,
adjacent.
yeah.
That was nearby, but not in the conflagration, I believe.
Okay, so you all make your way sort of back to the inn. There's, it's relatively quiet because obviously the fire, the innkeep sort of thanks you for your assistance at putting out the fire and helping with the wounded, provides you with some on the house meads. So yeah, how are you going to? Who's starting the chat? What are you talking about? What's going on?
I smile and I slide my mead over to Seren and say, apparently you're the one that can handle this. I don't drink.
By the way,
Oh.
we're gonna lot of
Is
drinking.
it
So
a
if you're,
flagon or a bottle? Is it
Yeah.
a flagon or a bottle?
it's a flagon.
I grab it and tip it up and just literally open my mouth and just tip it, drink down my throat.
All right, roll me a Constitution save.
Ron Swanson drinking moonshine.
I thought we were going to make her roll dexterity first to see if she missed it.
Oh, that's a good idea. We should have done that. That would be hilarious.
No, does she shower herself with it because she's like not a full medium height?
Budget
all right.
flash dance.
You're fine for you're fine for now. You're sort of feeling a little bit of a buzz, but you're all right and stuff. Okay, so yeah. So who's going first?
Party will lead in conspiratorially and I'll say, now, listen, Gadden and Seren, you won't be aware, but we are in possession of a corrupted...
Arno will just say, whoa. Are you sure you want to? Are we really doing this?
I think we should introduce them to the Order of Whispers, yes.
we can't really go along with the party being in two sections at the moment. They seem to be relatively trustworthy, and
You do
it
know,
seems
just on that,
productive.
I think you in previous, you're sort of aware that they mean well, but you are aware that Brother Gan at least has been telling you a few porky pies. So
I said relatively.
yeah.
Arno
Fine.
said, and when exactly was the vote of party admission?
I smile, take one of the empty flagons, and just put it on top of his head and say, "I think that at this point in time, it's not about the vote; it's about the fact that we need to progress, and we have lost too many comrades, and with Val having moved on as well, and with Tharavel being elsewhere, we need to progress. By the way, I like your new hat."
Arno will slowly grab the flagon and slam it down on the table
Look,
and fold his arms.
But Barty will just sort of like scratch his chin a little and look around and say, like, with the best of intentions, Arno. You, well, after pretending to be a bard, you'll probably be aware there aren't many great epic tales or poems about two casters and one fighter. We need more skills to be able to do whatever we're doing.
Arno spats back. He says, "I'll have you know, I am still a bard."
And a warlock with a patron that is at a loose end at the moment.
Excuse me. He just looks
Arno will pull out his concertina and sort of demonstrate.
roll me.
Accordion.
What's not entertainment? What's performance? Yeah, performance. Yeah.
It's got to be a dirge though, like with his mindset for like the last few sessions.
Yeah.
Like, we can't be doing
So,
a jolly tune.
Arno sort of kind of looks at you all, sort of kind of takes out his concertina and then blasts out an absolute tune. It's like
I'm not getting in the way of this.
And
I've
I mean, it's quite melancholy. It's like in a minor key and everything. But can Brother Gadden please roll me a wisdom?
hang on. Oh, wisdom saving throw.
Yeah.
Did you say?
Yep.
I said
Okay.
PvP spellcasting. Is this loud?
wisdom
hang on.
save. Yeah, 21.
Okay.
Unfortunately,
You did not meet the DC of 22, so all of a sudden, Brother Gadden will sort of stand, and he will not be in control of his body anymore, and he will start doing a kind of a shuffle, kind of interpretive dance to Arno's concertina play, and he just zero control of what he's doing, and Arno's kind of smirking while he plays, and.
I look at Brother Gadden and go, "You've never been so graceful."
he doesn't know that this has happened to him, does he?
No, he does. You know that you're dancing, but you have no control over what you're doing. You can roll another whiz save after a round to
Eldoreth, who's sitting in the corner of the room, looks frustrated and waves her hand using Magic User's Nemesis, which means that Arno has to succeed on a Wisdom saving throw against my spell save DC, which is God.
Is that a spell or a feat?
It's a feat.
Oh, okay, cool.
It's Magic User's Nemesis. It's a reaction.
Nice, cool, nice.
And I can't remember what my spell save DC is. So I've just got to try and remember that.
Did you update
cast the spell,
Aldoreth? What's is this something she's recently acquired?
I don't know. I'm just looking at her profile at the moment, and it's there. So I thought I would use
Just
it.
read the sheet for once, Gary.
Well, no, because this is one of their sort of Eldris being neglected. All of their sort of little NPC buddies who have been neglected. I went, okay, we'll roll them up. And what level is she at the minute, by the way? What is she?
11 at the moment, so I think I can. Not sure.
The spell save is 14 DC, by the way.
Okay.
like, what's the actual effect? Because I haven't actually cast a spell. This is my magic.
Yeah,
I'd
so
say
it's a
cast
charm?
spell or
is it a charm?
yeah,
It's
okay.
it's a charm, but it's coming from my magical concertina rather than
So
me
it's an
casting the
ability
spell.
But
rather than spell.
is it it's all in the wording, isn't it? Like if it's got the name of a spell, but it basically casts that for free, then it looks like it's magic, whereas
Essentially, yeah, it's magic rather than anything
Yeah,
else.
yeah.
It cost me a charge and I only have one charge with the concertina
Okay.
per day. But
yeah, it's gave it a shout, but that's the way I'd look at it.
So
It
she
says
can try
casting
but
a
I don't think it
spell.
would- Yeah, I
So-
don't think.
Because otherwise, like my wand of paralysis, you'd struggle to counter that.
Yeah, but she won't know. I mean, the party doesn't know that that this concertina is magical, so she can by all means try that, but it will have no effect on me. So I'll keep this up for a good sort of maybe half a minute, and
He's going to
then-
wisdom save again just to make sure he can get out of it.
Oh no! You keep dancing while everyone looks like what the hell, and eventually he sort of finishes the little tune with a.
As you buy.
Your body drops. You like.
He's exhausted already. He feels like because he was straining, he could feel his teeth. Like he's smiling, but inside he was ready to burn. Arno, probably with the light of 1,000 suns. And so he just looks at the halfling after having drenched in some form of like sweat, and he says, "Listen, little halfling, the next time you do that again, I will make sure I will not raise your corpse from the ground after it has been beaten. Not by me. So if you really want to make sure you look after your party members, make sure you don't actually antagonize the person who's going to heal you. Smile as gracefully as possible." And then kind of just turns to everybody else and said, "So, at the risk of pulling rank here, I'd like to move from our bullshit and go straight to the jugular here. And with Legion, the Legion is here to serve and defeat the corruption. Don't give a shit about whether you do or don't trust me. I have my scruples. Saren here is also scrupulous, whatever. And so we came here to help. If you don't like it, we will walk. If you want help, say so. And you," point to the halfling, "carry on like that. I swear to God, I will not give you cure wounds, even if you start getting a paper cut." Looks at everybody else.
Arno just holds his hands up. He says, "The door is over there."
Okay. Are we doing this? A vote? Walking out the door now? You're gonna get up.
I hold up my finger and say, "Please sit down." And I turn to Arno and say, "Arno, we've had a rough couple of days, a couple of weeks, lifetime, whatever. It's not a long journey. Please get your head out of your ass. We need the help."
I'm just having my fun in my own way. Maybe he should think twice about getting on my nerves.
Ooh.
Maybe, just maybe, you need to think with your head instead of whatever the hell else you're using at the moment.
I seem to recall you quite enjoying a bit of a dance as well, Lance.
Let me put it this way.
That was on the session you missed, by the way.
Let me put it this way. If you try that shit on me, I won't threaten to withhold heals. I don't have any to withhold. I will quite happily play Toss the Dwarf.
Right.
Without opening the door.
Eldrith sort of steps in and says, "This is the problem with this party: is you're bickering. It's always, confrontational, and you wonder why so many of us go." And she says, "There is an evil to be destroyed in this land. And this machismo bullshit is not what we need right now." And she says, "Everybody sit down. I will get everybody a round of drinks, except you, Lance, and we will talk this out like We will talk this out like gentle folk. Everybody, please take a seat. And she sort of looks, at everybody as they're standing up and being.
I point at Brother Gadden and just point at the chair and go, "Sit the fuck down."
Fine. Honestly, and just mumbles the chant of light to himself.
Arno will just be sat with a wry sort of half of his mouth in a kind of smile, knowing that he's got the better of is not the right word, but just was able to demonstrate that he can hold some control over everybody when he wants to.
I sit and just whirl my chakra around and my finger, and eye up Arno.
So she.
So back to Barty then, yeah.
Yeah. So Barty's sort of like the newest member, obviously present company excluded, one of the newest members, and doesn't know everybody as well either. So I guess you can say what you want to say, or
I'll roll my eyes after this whole demonstration. I'm like, if we've all quite finished now. So
I'm done. Actually, can we talk about ours? Seeing as in that little jerk face here doesn't want to talk about his, I think we should just volunteer the information as a olive branch. No?
I'm
So-
resisting the temptation to reach over and put my hand over his mouth. Just be quiet, please.
But we were part of discovering this information. Okay, fine. Oh,
You've done quite enough, my friend.
just to move the.
So
All
Barty,
your horses bite
what
your
did-
tail or something.
what did you discover in this library of knowledge?
am I allowed to speak plainly?
Yes.
Well, I found a Dreamwalker site known as
the Somnium Enclave.
the Somnium Enclave. Thank you very much, Gary. This is a sanctuary that floats between realms, not far from Kyrelia. It's a mystical floating island, and it's exactly what we need. It's got several different areas. All of them seem to be guarded by these some sort of guardians. There's a harmony hall, a meeting place, and a ceremonial space. I think that may be where we need to take our package.
You've got the Veil Chamber as well. So you've got the Celeste. So you've got the Astral Observatory, the Dream Gardens, the Reflecting Pools, the Harmony Hall, the Veil Chamber, and then you've got the Guardians of the Enclave, or your Celestial Guardians, embodiments of dream and wakefulness, patrol the borders of the Somnian Enclave. These ethereal beings watch over the Enclave, ensuring that safety from those who would seek to disrupt and the delicate balance it represents.
In a
Did you
nutshell,
find more about our suspicions of how dangerous the package may be?
no. Only where to go to. Try and nullify it.
So, wow. We're aware. Well, is it? He's aware of this portal, correct?
It's
Uh,
not. There's
so
not. It's not a
I don't
portal. You're sort
Not
of.
portal,
It's a.
gateway.
It's just an area. You know, sort of. You'll. I'm assuming Barty will sort of have a map. Sort of from the
Oh
library.
no, it's
Yeah.
not. It was. Was he aware of it before the discovery of the library? I wasn't sure if. we've
Would
actually-
you, as Brother Gad,
It was at the
unlikely? No.
It
Okay,
was at the
fine.
library. Gadden was helping me research it.
Oh yeah. So
Yeah,
of course,
that's-
yeah, you were.
You've
Yeah,
done
yeah.
his own
So you
thing.
will be aware of it. Yeah. You've seen it.
I was
Yeah.
aware of it at the library, but I wasn't aware of it. Well, Gadden wasn't aware of it before. The
You
library.
knew what I was looking for, but I never really told you why.
Yeah.
I made it out like it was like some like.
Yeah, so you're not
Interesting
aware
stuff.
of the relic they hold. I think that's basically.
He's aware of
Yeah,
the
and-
location and the fact that it can go to different planes.
It's between, isn't it?
It's between
like
planes, yeah.
Yeah. So you can get to it through this portal potentially, but I don't think we can just rock up and it's there. I think we'll have to find a way to shift to the plane it's on.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so you passed on that info as well on it being between planes and
Yeah,
And
yeah, but there is
portals.
a portal potentially, or a portal nearby its location, which I've got a strong belief that could be. what will lead us
So
remember what happened the last time we stepped through a portal. How do
Yes,
we
but
know
we-
that the location on the other side is where you expect it to be?
Well, if you forgive me, we won't be following your cock this time. Going in with plan and research.
please. Now, I may have. There is some caveats to this because I don't know how learned everybody else is, but it seems to me that you've just happened to have stumbled upon a portal and gone through to a different plane of existence. So, as a cleric of Bahamut, bound by some duties, you cannot and should not attempt to disturb any level of balance that is in play.
You've got the wrong end of the stick there. We did not discover a portal. We were tricked and then trapped by a portal. There's
fine.
a huge world
That's
of difference.
fine. That's fine. Now you're saying here you have a package, and you intend to go to the Somnian Vale, Enclave. Sorry, which means, and I'm just inferring here, but if you mean to deliver this package and you have no idea what it is and how, what magnitude it could cause, I'm obliged to tell you right now that if you don't have any more information about this package and what it's capable of doing, you're not going there. And I'm saying,
No. We know more about it. We're just not telling you.
then, but you're not. And if you know that it is going to disturb some level of balance in the Enclave, I'm forbidding it straight up.
No. It will restore balance. At the moment, dark force has corrupted it. Maybe even the corruption itself. But what we need to do is to place it back in its rightful place and perform potentially some sort of ritual that will help to remove the corruption and
Rituals?
therefore restore balance.
Okay.
Just your jam. Exactly.
You can
Good.
roll.
Sort of
You can roll
thing.
me an insight to see if you believe him or not, and then you can question him on any further.
No, I think on this instance, I'm actually Gadden is gonna go by the fact that out of all three of them, Barty has been the most easiest to work with, and he's going to inherently trust him.
Okay, fair dues. Cool. All right. Are you gonna push him for any more information on this package, or are you just gonna?
No, he's not. He's just going to state the ground rules, and he says, "Look, as long as the intention is to rid this particular package, and I'm going to assume it's an artifact of its corruption, then I'm for it. But any funny business, and I swear to God, I'm gonna get Bahamut to fucking charge you all." Okay.
Lance might, well, obviously being quite well versed in the old man.
I smile and say, "You can ask, but last time we talked, he seemed quite well disposed towards us. Though the first time we met, he was a little tiny bit on the mischievous side, I must admit. But I'll let Tharival tell that story when he returns."
I would say the inference that he's met a deity as especially the Bahamut is something you would find.
Is he having a religious crisis?
You know, it's I think it'd be something you would find kind of unbelievable. You know, I think personally, I think you would sort of. I'm not sure if you would fully believe him or not. Roll me an insight on that.
Wait, am I rolling it?
Yes, you're
Yes.
rolling
Yeah.
insight. So basically, to
That's
say,
fine.
yeah, okay. So as much as you're like, I think you believe him, because why would he sort of make something up? I think as you know, obviously a cleric of Bahamut, you are, you know, having met the patron gods, that's be quite impressive to you.
Arno
Well-
will not be able to sit back here and just question. So, our Leonin friend, do you mean to say that you yourself have not met him?
What's up?
He remains quiet.
Tired.
I just,
Interesting. Lance
just-
is not the only
just-
one here in his favor.
And he just kind of like waves the holy symbol. Uh-huh.
I too have never met a dragon god. It doesn't make him too special.
No.
Have you? I'm just trying to think. When was the last time he appeared to you guys? The Battle of
He
Kiberath?
appeared to me, remember. Arno met him in the
Crystal, yeah.
when
Yeah.
the crystal
Yeah,
touched him. So,
So
that's-
that
Did
was
you
the la-
though?
that was-
Did you though? Because that was just before.
But the thing is, you were
all
at
the
Kib-
heavy
no,
stuff.
as an actual physical being. He
Yeah,
did
we did
appear.
meet
He
him
did
at the-
at Kiberath because he turned into the dragon to help them deal with the thing, and then basically said that is the last time I can do anything like that because my power is waning and stuff. And I think the last time you've talked to him, so you've seen him there, and then you've talked to him within the crystal, effectively.
Mhm.
Whereas Lance has seen him loads. he's appeared
So,
loads.
So
Lance and
how-
Fireball, I've seen him lots.
so how far is this land of the Vale?
It will be. It's got to be like weeks away, surely. It's like the other side of the map. Whereabouts are we at the moment?
Yeah, so you are.
Red-
I'll-
Red Square.
let me stick you on the. You are.
It's not far from Kyrelia, so
It's
how would Barty have sort of like voyaged past it at some point? or...
You're from Kyrelia, aren't you? You're sort of
Yeah,
Kyrelian, yeah. So
But
yeah.
is it sort of place that like you'd sort of like visit, or
Birth of a
is it
Woman.
more of like you heard a lot about it,
Let me just
don't know anything of?
let me find the bloody map again. Where is it gone to? There it is. So it is. In fact, let me put the area map up because that may be slightly more useful.
Okay, yeah, so it's right. Just
So it's in between that and Sitrar. You'll know that it's effectively. Let me just do some quick calculations here. You're looking at. I've sort of said that each hex is probably about 5 miles. So I don't know. You know, it would take, like you said, a week maybe to sort of get down there, around and back. You could probably go by sea down through Kyrelia and round, or you could go across land, across to the ports, one of the ports, and then cross land. It's sort of in between Sitrar and Kyrelia. Now, Citrar's a heavily religious and quite what's the word? Not what's the word when they're sort of a bit when you're not sort of telling everybody everything, secretive, mysterious sort of area.
Eric, right? Or is that weird? Is that? Yeah.
Sorry, say it again.
I was going to say esoteric, but I don't think that's right.
Yeah,
No, that's not.
yeah. And
Good, yeah.
Esoteric is weird.
yeah,
Mm.
and it sort of is, you know, there's not a lot known about it. Other than it's known for his sort of religious monuments, which you can kind of see. Sort of, it's got some pyramids and a big obelisk and some ruined things. It was, you know, your history will show that, you know, it was once quite a, you know, it was possibly one of the first, well, they insisted they're one of the first races to come through the portal and set up down there. Once it used to be a lush land before the the desolation that came with all the encroaching races that came through the portal, taking away from the land and blah blah blah. But yeah, it's there's not loads known about it. Just other than that, it's a highly religious area. It's you would have bought, I think Lance and Tharaval and stuff would have met potentially one of the envoys when they turned up in Balon that time. So they are sort of open to dealing with the corruption, but are quite secretive in their ways. Kyrelia is Kyrelia. It's basically it's an empire. Its interests are its own. It's power, money, and the corruption is, part of them. Sort of you would think it's a weakening one because they're Yathlia. It was one of its known rivals. And let me just put regions on this so other people at home can see. Regions. There we go. Elathlia and Kyrelia obviously were two rival empires that's why Aswara and Belmur were created as a sort of buffer zone between the two and to protect the portal of Aberath. And Kyrelia has obviously sent forces down to deal with the corruption, as most of the states have. But Kyrelia is as good as any empire's probably going to be good. It has its own little sort of underlying Machiavellian machinations.
Okay. So like I'll just answer Anna. It'll be at least a week traveling across Kyrelia. Potentially quite safe. But, I'm confident I can have a safe morning.
Kyrelia, in which direction?
South, west,
southwest.
You'll know Arno kind of look a little relieved by you saying that.
I just raise an eyebrow and chuckle at Arno looking a bit nervous after all of his previous posturing.
But as it's our only direction that we can really go, let's see what other options we have. There is the matter of the dead body, but no one knows where it is.
Before we progress, did you say, Matt, that I did some rough calculations? You said that a hex is about 5 miles, correct?
Hex is about 5 miles, yeah.
Between here and the Somnian Enclave, it's about 60 hexes, which is approximately, and then that's approximately about 900 miles.
1,000 miles. You're looking at 22 miles a day, 11 if you're sort of on a horse or something. So
I would walk 500 miles.
And then walk 500 more. So if we're looking at 8 hours travel from party at a normal pace, it's 46 days and 7 hours.
Yes.
But if we are doing a fast pace, that might be different, and obviously there might be a penalty.
We'll be doing a very brisk pace, indeed.
So at this point, I think, may I then sort of interject? And having travelled across the city-states, and particularly just travelling, I don't think he's travelled around Kyrelia, bluntly put, but he will know what that kind of journey may feel like, and he's just going to say, I think a week is a little bit too optimistic. We're probably looking at more like over a month if we are doing this at a normal pace, and we may need to seek other transportation in the form of maybe horses, carriage, portal may be advisable, but or some sort of teleportation magics. But it's going to be a long journey, and I think we need just to manage expectations a little bit here.
There is birthing 1 minute. Let me do this. So there is. Let me just check. Are there any dragon towers? There is a dragon tower in Citrar. It is. Let me zoom in.
There, isn't it?
There is It's on the
South
It's on the
Yard.
left-hand side of the island in the west. There's a dragon tower there. Let me just put a little square around it so you can see it. So it is there.
Okay.
There's a dragon tower there. And you obviously have the dragon tower, which is just off coast of Balon. There is a dragon tower here in Kyrelia. Let's see. Let me turn. I'm gonna have to change to. I'll look for it here. Yeah, I think those are your closest dragon towers to that area.
So the one on the island would probably be our best option.
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
Well, it would be an option, but you're all in the company of a wizard once again, my friends. Allow me to convey us there as swiftly as possible.
For Gaddon and Saren's knowledge, dragon towers are ways to sort of it's like fast travel in the areas. Potentially, you can send messages for a fee. For a lot more, a bigger fee, you can potentially move from one dragon tower to another.
Arno looks at Barty and says, "I seem to recall you flaunting your magical prowess before and suggesting that you had the means of teleportation. Could you not get us there any faster?"
That's exactly what I've been getting at, but no one's
No, I got it. He just
picked
wanted
up
to
on my
say.
self-flattery.
I thought you were going to teleport us, which is fantastic. So good. I'm glad that we are able to manage that expectation. Okay. It's
Back to your previous comment about not having another course. While you were otherwise engaged, I did my own bit of digging. And then he'll just turn to Lance, turning his back on everyone else. He says, "I know where they took his body."
That's great. Where?
It's called Jorathrasta.
Jorathrasta. It's a large, fiery island
I am familiar
in
with
the
Jorathrasta.
corruption.
It's
Lance is he comes from Belmore, so he'll be aware of the island.
that is a very, very challenging target. I would be loath to rush there, especially when we are under strength at this point in time. I would be especially loath to go there, much as I want to retrieve my friend's body. I would be especially loath to go there with the risk that the artifact may be captured from us if we were defeated, because we have gone to a lot of effort to take that out of the hands of those that would wish to use it for a worse end, and it would be, how should we put this? It would probably earn us a very vigorous beating in the afterlife from our friend if we ran down there foolishly and got ourselves killed. I suspect he would not be very impressed at that.
Do you want me to tell you what it does, by the way, again, or are you just happy enough, sort of, what the Veil of Whispers does, or the Veil of Whispers? Do you want to know what it does again?
No, well, I'm good unless.
Well,
Pretty awesome. It's pretty awesome.
I
It's like
suppose that we could explain it. We could say we were explaining it to the new party members, shall we?
yeah, let's do that.
Yeah. Okay. So, the Veil of Whispers is an ancient relic used by the Dreamwalkers. It's an artifact with the power to bridge the gap between the dream world and reality, crafted by the ancient dreamwalkers to aid humanity. It appears as a delicate translucent shroud adorned within intricate patterned stars of the moonlight. It gives you Dreamwalker insight. While attuned to the Veil Whispers, you're gain proficiency in insight skills representing your enhanced connection to the dreams of hidden truths. Dreamer's protection. As a reaction, you can expand a charge that casts a shield spell without using a spell slot. The number of charges replenishes at dawn. You can maximum of 3 charges on that. The Dreamscape's Glimpse. Once per long rest, you can use an action to activate the veil. When you do so, you gain the ability to see inside the dreams of a creature you can see within 60 feet. This effect lasts a minute or until the end of the bonus action. While active, you have the advantage on wisdom, insight checks, and communicate telepathically with the target. Ethereal Phase. As a bonus action, you can activate the veil to enter an ethereal state for up to 1 minute. During this time, you can move through solid objects and creatures have a disadvantage on attacks against you. You cannot take any actions, attack, or interact with objects while this is state. Once you have this ability, you can use it. You can't use this again until after a long rest. Dreamscape Guardian. When you fall asleep while attuned to the Veil of Whispers, you can choose to send your consciousness into the dreamscape to protect yourself and your allies. In this state, you're aware of your surroundings and can take the Sentinel feat's benefits from guarding your allies within 30 feet. The state lasts for 8 hours. And basically, there's that, but because it's slightly corrupted over time, it will potentially corrupt its bearer. So it's obviously weighing up the good with the bad.
But this is just player knowledge. It's not been communicated yet to Sarah nor to Gavin.
That's what they're explaining to you now, I would say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
Once they finish
I will
explaining,
below that. Yeah, this.
once they finish explaining, I
Sorry.
look at them and say, "I trust this is somewhere safe."
It is very safe.
It has been secreted in Arno's ring.
Arno's eyes go wide, and he like literally just can't believe you told them.
I'm just loving the double
He
entendre.
grabs Barty and just hugs him. He goes, "I think that was worth all the punishment that Arno just gave me. Thank you. I believe this is such."
You've just been explaining it in intricate detail for half an hour. What?
Just no. The fact that it's hit. Never mind.
Don't worry,
Suffice-
Marty. He's assuming that you're not as innocent as you appear.
So
You'll never let him
Am I the only one who's not getting the whole secreting it in the ring? You know, the innuendo.
But Saren, does that sort of make you feel more comfortable knowing that this particularly dangerous corrupted artifact is somewhere hidden away in this thing? And he points at Arno.
Only Arno can allow access.
To his
I
ring.
pick up the other mug of mead and just
roll me another Constitution.
And
getting accidentally drunk.
and you know it's on purpose because
all
it's,
right, yeah, you're so sort of bemused. You know, you've knocked yourself sober.
I just sit there and
Amazing.
chuckle and said, "This is how it works. We drink and we know things."
so.
I
It
foresee a
seems-
lot of drinking in my future. I wonder why that is.
And then it's a good thing that I'm here to just help you. I mean, a good thing I'm not a paladin, but I can still get rid of all this stuff for you. But more to the point, I don't think we should be wherever it is that your friend's body is, and if it is compromising the safety of the veil, fuck no. So
Yes.
I don't think we should be going anywhere near that unless, of course, somebody has managed to raise an army similar to what Valashul has been wanting to do all of his life.
Not
So,
as yet, but we're working on it.
It is too great a risk.
Yes.
agreed.
Far
I'm
too
also
great a risk.
concerned about the risk of corruption by using it. For all that it is powerful, there is there is that risk that it is still itself corrupted, and it might affect one of us.
Is it?
It's
so
a bowl.
I'm not.
It's like a bowl. It's like a bowl.
I'm not knowledgeable in the mechanics of magic, but Barty, correct me if I'm wrong. If it is inside a dimension, a pocket dimension, does the corruption then? I've never tested the theory, and I've only heard scholastically about it from my other brothers and sisters. But can the corruption technically transcend dimensions if it is contained in a pocket dimension outside of the one we currently exist?
It's an excellent question that you posit. And one day I shall find out the answer for you.
We don't know the fucking. So basically, where either way we should be going down to the.
It's more to keep it. It's to keep us safe from it, not it safe.
Right now, it's in a
else.
place that it's not affecting us.
Yeah.
We hope so.
That is the main concern.
It does call out.
Sorry. All right. Where did that laugh come from?
Yeah.
That's such a really.
At this time, brother,
It calls
we
out
had
to
taken-
beings. It will
yeah.
it will talk to you in your sleep as you sleep next to it, for example.
we are trying to take what reasonable precautions we can
Yes,
to isolate it.
that's right. If a mischievous Jinn was to create a pocket dimension for one of her followers to commune with her, and the artifact was to be left there, I'm sure there'll be no ill consequences from leaving it.
Oh no!
I
that's
wish you hadn't said that out loud.
Was that Mark or Lance that said that?
That was Lance.
Oh, how the characters bleed. Okay. Look, I think whilst we're dancing around the possibilities, as long as it's a delayed effect for us to be able to bring it to a point where we can cleanse it of its corruption.
Yes.
Good. The two things that come out of this, objectively speaking: one, we need to get to the Somnian Enclave as quickly as possible, and then position this artifact accordingly, the veil. And then secondly, we have to hope the fucking high hell that the corruption is either contained and diminished or somehow vanquished by putting it in place. Otherwise, we need to be also researching for a secondary option as to how to cleanse the corruption from it. Because I've never heard of a situation where the corruption and an artifact have been welded together. And quite frankly, it's terrifying.
This is our secondary option.
You're obviously aware that you're taking turns with this sort of are you taking turns with this ring then? Because it's not,
Absolutely not.
Oh God! Are you taking turns with this ring?
It's literally. Remember, we just put it in there yesterday.
Put it in your ring,
and that. Yeah,
Yes.
it's secret. It is secret and safe in my special dimension.
Oh my god, there's so many bad references and good. I heard people watching it, they're like just dying of laughter. Oh god.
It is in a secret and safe place.
Okay.
Yeah, but no, there was no, there was no discussion about anyone else holding the ring, and if there was, Arno would not allow it.
Okay, so
At this point in
you
time-
may need to talk
Just so
about
it's on record.
its obviously it still has power.
Oh my god, we've just made the actual One Ring, haven't we?
Yeah, it still has power.
Yeah, basically, yeah.
It still has power, and it, as much as it is within this pocket dimension, it
We
was.
know this after less than 24 hours.
Well, no, you were. So you're aware. You. So what's happened is, Barty's had. Well, I guess you might. It's up to yourself. Okay, I'll tell you what I'll do. Roll me a. What's it going to be? Roll me an Is it going to be an insight? So basically, I'm trying to figure out if you can put two and two together. What would that be? Would it be an insight?
It'd be an investigation.
Roll me roll me an investigation.
Classic investigation.
Yeah.
It is.
Well,
It's to
you
pick
need
up
to
on-
just decide if it's wisdom or intelligence. Like, is it something to know or something to work out? If to
It's
work
something.
out, it's
So basically, you're trying to work
got-
out that. So what you know is that the Barty, when he had it, he was having dreams. When you went into your little new clubhouse, you talked about how that you may have to sort of share the burden, because if somebody has it for too long, it could potentially corrupt them. So it's basically you understanding that if you leave it within your ring, is it going to have an effect on yourself? Or is it going to be safe?
We discussed that at the time, and it has literally just been 24 hours in game time, so we haven't been back in yet to check on it. What we agreed was we would only go back in together. We would go back in after a few days and assess the situation if anything has changed, and kind of make that there. So I would like to say that we don't roll this insight until a couple of days later in game.
Okay.
Until we go back into the ring.
All right.
I don't think there's anything against it, to be honest, because at the moment we've got our understanding of what happened to Galandra. There's some research that's been done on the bowl and like the Dreamlands or the Dreamwalkers, sorry. And then we've got like our own experiences from when we've also interacted with the bowl, and then there's Kivy. So I think there's enough to like glean some information if Gary wants to give it to us. Like maybe it's not even that much more advanced. But...
It's up to yourselves. You can.
Happy up for it.
I think that we would obviously all be very cautious, but we wouldn't be starting to talk too much more about it at the moment. But after a few days, we may have concerns because at the moment we're very much immediate to the
situation. We're just onboarding, aren't we? We're just onboarding.
But have you three
the order?
Have you three disclosed this information contextually? Because Gadden will go about this from a more scholarly perspective and look at the information and then make the connections, therefore using insight as his primary mechanism. Because to him, unless of course they haven't disclosed it, he would be probably on the urge of saying we need to check.
Okay, so are you telling him about your what it has? So obviously you've explained how its powers and what it does, and potentially it could be used to help deal with Kiamat. Are you going to partake in the darker side of it, and why you think it needs to go back to the Enclave?
That's the question, isn't it? Do we tell them about like what happened to Galandra, and then
I think we would couch it very carefully in that we have concerns because it had been used in the way it was and was in the possession of that particular sect, that we're concerned that we don't understand enough about it, and we're looking to find people who know well enough that can help us to make sure that it's safe, because it has so much potential for damage and danger.
Okay.
If any more Dreamwalkers exist, then surely some of them will be hanging around in the Somnium Enclave. Or it's just a desolate wasteland of death and despair.
Because Gadden's going to approach it from his knowledge of the corruption, and how much time he spent learning it.
Was it the corruption, Gary? They
were called
cultists, wasn't it?
Yeah, they were called the cult of the veil of the Whispering Veil. Sorry. So the Whispering Veil was the name of the deity that what are they called? The bear with me 1 minute. I've got it here. That's the wrong one. Cult of the Whispering Veil. Who are basically turned daywalkers, effectively. Not daywalkers, dreamwalkers.
Yeah, so I mean, from our point of view, while we don't know for sure, we do know that there is a risk there, and that it's powerful enough that we want to be cautious about it and take precautions, because they proved themselves dangerous, and part of what made them dangerous was this artifact. So from our point of view, we need to try and make sure that it is safe and that it is not available to the corruption to make them more powerful. Which which I think that Brother Gadden could probably sympathise with.
He looks at Saren and sort of just penny for your thoughts. I think I've taken up too much airtime here, and I mean I could trust them with this as well, and we can go help them because we're going to go down the same path anyway.
I feel like we should trust them. They've had more experience with this thing than we do. They're the people that acquired it.
Yeah.
They clearly
Cool.
know what they're doing,
Mhm.
but at the
Sorry.
same time, I say this with a raised eyebrow and like sort of like side eye, but they know what they're doing, ish, and they clearly have a plan. But as Lance said, they are underpowered, and that is where we come in.
Okay, cool. So my only thing here is that we don't actively go anywhere near the, let's just say, the corruption and its allies for the time being.
Yeah.
Let's
Okay.
not wantonly put it ourselves into jeopardy. And then secondly, I think we just need to get to the Enclave Toot Sweet, and then afterwards, then we can figure out, do things along the way. I don't think we're gonna be able to pass any places in Kyrelia along the way where we can find out more knowledge. And if we encounter anybody, well, our good chatty friend Arno can help, glean that information from the locals as well as us. But I think that's as good as we're going to get in terms of research. It has to be done on the way. I don't think we should be staying and dilly-dallying in one location for too long.
We need to go to the source, which
Yes.
is
Agreed.
the Enclave. It wouldn't
Yes.
surprise me if this artifact was created there.
No, I have a very strong suspicion that the artifact actually belongs there. Based on the literature and the way that the library talks about where the veils come from, there is a particular spot that I have a strong suspicion that we could potentially just put it there and see what happens, and only good for surmise from it, or the corruption. My biggest fear is that the corruption actually takes root inside the entire enclave, and then it corrupts it just by having that one seed in there. That's my biggest fear.
I think
Point just on a point as I've just thought of actually. Arno, your pocket dimension is where you commune with Kivi, right?
I have and can commune with her outside of it, but that's where Arno has chosen to go. That it's like his fortress of solitude kind of place where he chooses to sort of.
Because I am not 100. I'm not sure if Kivi's going to be super happy about it being there. Depending on how you, it sort of. Bear in mind, she was captured by it, and so I need to sort of think about it.
So she's gone AWOL, right? At the moment. Whenever I'm in there, I've never seen her in there in person. It's just that's I choose to commune with her there. Right. I have communed with her outside of it. It's not like her dimension.
Right. Okay.
It's a plane of the ring. I mean, it's like a genie lamp, right?
Yeah.
So,
okay. Which would arguably be her, because that's where she's come from. Where if that's where she came from, obviously where you met her, so that's the object. So it's technically. So yeah, I'll let it go for now. But we'll see.
This conversation is not completed.
This conversation is not completed. No. Okay, so where did we come to about telling him about its potential to corrupt people who use it? Are you informing them, or are you keeping it stum?
We've couched it in. We're concerned there is a possibility that the corruption may not be cleansed, may still be within it, and we need to get it cleansed.
So
which seems a slightly more politic way of putting it, other than, oh my god, it's going to eat people's brains and turn them into monsters.
Which it could do if it decides that it takes over the whole enclave, like I said, with the risk.
We need to find people more qualified and more experienced with it to help us to figure that out. Because at the moment, we're wandering around in the dark with a torch, hoping that no one's got a bucket of water.
You can, Brother Gadden, you'll probably be more aware of rituals, cleansing rituals than the others. You can roll me a history check if you want.
I was going to say, can I expand that to also known individuals within the Legion that could help us?
Yes. So roll me a history check. Okay.
25.
Okay, so you have been party to similar rituals to cleanse tainted artifacts, some of which legionnaires use, Valashul being one of them with his spear, and knowing this, you're aware that the rituals are not without their risks, and that, you know, it would need to be done at its source, but there is that risk that if this corruption gets out, it could spread in that area, and if it's within a interdimensional plane, that could spread not only to this land but to other lands as well.
Okay. And is there any particular components or specific rituals that have, like he's witnessed, to have a banished corruption?
I'd say you're aware of different types, depending. I think it's very specific to the artifact, because you don't know about the artifact really, other than what you've been told, which is not a lot. You would need to do maybe some research into that ritual to deal with that. To do with it.
And it's more than just your standard remove curse. It is something much more greater than that, I imagine. Like must be a spell. Because I in my repertoire, the most I would probably have is remove curse.
Yeah, it's not a curse. It's a well, again, you're sort of out of character, out of game. It's got a shard of a dark entity within it still, that hasn't been vanquished, and it's. Yeah, so it's not a spell. It's a sentient being, effectively.
But then yeah. So, but then out of character, if the Legion, and in particular Brother Gadden, has been involved in such things, then he would have seen the entity from the shard come out, and they would have all had to try and vanquish him.
Yeah, well, see, that's this is a specific thing. I'm not sure. You would have seen, you would have had, like, within the celestial realm, dealing with different demons and demon hordes, and weapons that had been tainted, and cleansing them of that. You would have had specific, you would have. Again, Valashul's spears, one of the examples. It's something that was cleansed, but because I have to say the thing is, you're not. I think you think you would think you know what to do, but you would need to do a bit more information. This is, in your mind, I think you're like, yeah, I think I know what we need to do, but you'll need to do a bit more research. As it stands, it's going to be a lot more complicated than probably what you've got in your mind. Yeah.
Yeah, he's not making the assumption that he's going to use the spell. So I think I'm going to talk this out. So I'll go back in character and I say, look, I think I know that I've got the briefing notes of how Valashul's spear was sort of cleansed from the corruption, and what I understand is that each curse and each corruption is very much different depending on what it is it's inhabiting. So we need to find out more about it. I'm probably the best route of being able to suss out who can speak to about this. If I find any other legionnaires across the way that can help us, I will definitely ask questions and see if they can point me in the right direction, or if they have any experience. Otherwise, I think, and I know, I'm not to toot my own horn here, I know how to banish corruption fairly okay, but when it becomes part of an artifact, it is much more complicated. So I think we have to craft it from scratch, and then we have to go to the stores and see how it goes. And the biggest risk is that we can just corrupt the enclave. We can corrupt multiple planes just by doing what we're attempting to doing with this artifact. So it is a big risk. And
It's possible then that maybe if we approach it, but if Arno stays outside, if Arno stays outside with us while you go in with Barty, you could talk to them without the artifact being present within the actual anomaly.
Again, I don't know the theory a bit, but logically it sounds about right. I could.
Yeah,
I
mean,
have a question.
Okay.
In your research in the library, can this thing be tracked? Can it be tracked by dream walkers? Can they?
Oh,
can they find you?
undoubtedly, there'll be followers being called to this, definitely. Which is why we secreted it inside the ring. It's not a permanent solution, but we feel it's probably the best solution we have at our disposal at this moment. Speaking from one scholar to another, Brother Garden, I find that we're in the great void of ignorance with this one, and the only way that we'll truly learn is in the attempt, unfortunately, which is
I like this. I like
terrifying
this.
and exciting.
No. This is good. This is what the Legionnaires do when we faced with undaunting, shit odds. We stare it down in the face and we say, "Fuck you," and we learn. So maybe do that. Let's do it.
To quote someone I used to serve with, at this point we have to fuck around and find out.
Oh, I feel like I might know this person too, but this is a very classic Legionnaire expression. Fuck around, find out, that sort of thing, or the other way around.
Lance, in regards to your plan of popping in and asking some questions and keeping Arno outside, you may misunderstand. It's not quite as simple as just centering a temple and asking the priest. We'll be traveling to another plane. I don't know, truthfully, if we'll be able to return. Kivi might not be there to send us back. We could maybe get our hands on a scroll of plane shift as a backup. It'd be very expensive, but useful.
So this is, I think, what you need to think about is how you're going to get there, how you're going to deal with that situation, and how you're going to get back.
With the best will in the world, we need to get rid of this. It needs cleansing. It needs to be in a place where it cannot harm another. It's safe for now, but for how long? Even if we cannot get back, we owe it to everyone else to try to get rid of this thing.
At this stage,
but it is a gift. I wish there was a Boromir in the corner. But it is a gift.
The second big bad evil dude turns up, Arno, Barty wants to start shielding with it. Definitely.
Yeah. But it's a gift.
I stand up and I move to.
One does not simply
walk into Joel Astra and
One does not simply cleanse something of corruption.
So I get up and I stand at the head of the room where everyone can see me, and I pull out Rakan's axe and I put the haft on the floor so I'm holding it at the top, and I say, at this stage we have, not just personally but as a group with those that we have left behind, we have risked and we have lost much to foil the corruption and the plans of those associated with it. At this stage, our best option is to continue doing that. And as such, we need to learn as we're going, but the risk of the corruption from this artifact causing more problems behooves us to do our best to neutralize it or destroy it as appropriate. While it could potentially do a lot of good, it can potentially do an awful lot of bad as well. And it's not something we can just take a chance on here. we have to, with all the will in the world, do our best to move this thing forward and find a way to stop it and take the risks that are appropriate.
So here's how it's going to work then, because I feel like I've done this before in another place, in another time, and it is nerve wracking. So we have a time limit. The time limit is when is the duration of how quickly it is for us to cross Karelia and get to the Somnian Enclave. In which time we need to learn as much about this corruptions as much as possible, to artifacts, and be as prepared as possible for when we do get to the Enclave. There are two things that we just need to remember. One, it is guarded by the Dreamwalkers. We're going to need to get their permission somehow to walk in. They just can't let us walk in knowing full well we have something that could potentially harm their very existence in the Enclave. Like no sane being will do that. That's the first thing. And second thing is, whether we do or don't have enough information, that is it. Like once we're there, we're there. There's no more time to stall. We have to get in there. And if we keep stalling, that's only two things that will happen. One, the whispering will start becoming talking, will start becoming influencing, and then suddenly we may have to be fighting corruption within ourselves. And then the second bit is, who else is going to be chasing us? So yeah, tight warp, a very tight situation, but I think it is doable. We just don't know what the outcome will be. And
just so that you're aware that the Enclave is guarded by celestial beings. I don't know if they'll be open to reason or just.
I think it'll be fine. Let me
alignment.
talk. Let me talk to the celestial beings. Friends, legion, that sort of thing. We should be okay. If not, I
I
ask
roll
for
my
favor.
eyes at Brother Geddon's confidence.
I know, Saren, in a long shot, but faith. You must have faith.
I propose then that we investigate the doorway in this random island between Krillia and Citra. Just see what we find and see if it is a plausible way in.
Wait, does that mean that they'll take us to Kyrelia quicker?
Like, we'll go, hopefully, directly to the source where this portal is alleged to be.
Oh, I'm in favor of it.
I really hope I don't get portal sick.
If you wish to gather provisions, I suggest you do so now.
Okay, so what does your portal do, by the way, Barty? What's
It's a straight up teleport spell. So depending on how well I know the location, will dictate the chances of me being able to successfully take us there. So if it's a place I know well, or there's a teleportation circle and I know the runes, then it's 100% success. And then the less I know about it or know where it is.
roll me a history check then, and I'll let you sort of see how sort of.
Yeah. It'll be a D-hundy when it comes to crunch time. History.
28. Yeah.
If you're from Kyrelia, are you trying to teleport us right there, or to somewhere close by that you've been in Kyrelia?
Ideally, I'd like to teleport us right there, but
I don't think you would.
you
wouldn't have gone to that island specifically.
I don't necessarily have to have gone to it. So if I had been there before, it would be 100% chance. But if I know enough about it, example like its location on charts, what it looks like, what it's about, then I should still have quite a high success, just not 100.
So you've got basically a description. You've got the description category of it, I think. So basically, you'll roll a D100, Matt, and then depending what that is, we either get there without event, or we get somewhere random a distance from where we were trying to get.
Yeah.
All right. So you've got here. Bear with 1 minute. So you've got area. So able to fit entire inside to a destination you select. If your target is an object, it must be blah blah blah. So I'm going to ignore that. Familiar with the destination determines whether you arrive. D100 a shape. Okay, so 1 to very so 1 to 100 very familiar. Seen casually. Viewed once.
Yeah, so it's more like
description.
Sort of make a call on it. Yeah, it's probably looking at it. It's probably a pretty low chance of us being able to get there, but I could plonk us Like at the other end of the bridge in Kyrelia, probably.
You could get
So-
you would have probably there's a place down on the sort of western part, just above where the bridge is. There's a place called Garley Hold, which is a fortified port, which I'm guessing if you've been to Calrelia and you've had a wander around, you would know that area quite well.
Oh yes, my father used to sell many texts to the alderman of Garleyhold.
Yeah, so I think you would you definitely know that. So getting there, I don't think would be a massive issue. The actual island itself.
But the way like Barty is, like I reckon he'd probably want a chance trying to get there, like to the pinpoint destination, and he wouldn't tell all of us that there might be something that goes wrong. And I think we'd naively go along. So I'm more than happy for him to
the problem with the teleportation, like Barty is he's like cocky and very like headstrong and slightly obnoxious, but his self-preservation is very high, and if I get this spell wrong, it's not like, oh, we don't get there. It's we're 20 miles at sea and we don't have a boat. Like,
so does Barty and Arno kind of like talk the mechanics of the spell out loud, or are you theorizing this in out character?
No, I'm out of character.
This is all like Barty's sort of like mental calculations, really. Like, if he thinks there's a good chance he can land us right by the portal, he'll do it. But if it's any sort of like any less than like 20%, then he's
so that would be your probability that we get there is 26%.
Yeah,
so 74 above. So that's higher than 20%.
And Matt, what if and how is there a particular thing that can help increase the odds? Now, hear me out here, but if Gadden is sort of like suspecting that Barty's trying to do that, what he's thinking, and getting them to the source. No, actually, he's already said that. So I guess but he doesn't know how well he thinks he knows the source, whatnot. I want to suggest using scrying to increase the probability of him landing the place that we need to land into.
That would work. We could spend a few days spamming scry.
I actually have it.
What does scrying do? Because I think it's the first time we've used it. What is it?
Scrying. I'll cast it.
I'm just mindful that it's a okay. So you can see in your particular creature you choose that is the same place of existence as you. The target must make a wisdom saving throw. So you're going to scry on something. Are you how do you?
That's my creature.
Yeah, so
on a creature.
But you'd have to. I'm assuming you have to be with.
What creature?
Yeah, what creature?
This is where I'd need to know what Barty is saying, if he's saying it outright or not, or whether he's kind of like suspecting it. Because then one of two things will happen. If he's not saying it, Gadden's going to talk. He's going to pull it out of him and then find a way to connect scrying to Barty's dad, for instance. That would be the first way to scry it. The second one will be obviously just he's going to infer it and suggest giving him the scry option.
Yeah, my dad's connections are in the town nearby. That was just like a bit of like background flavour.
Okay.
So we wouldn't have gone to that portal.
That island's going to be, and I guess you would sort of know this, that it's.
My intention was to get a read off Gary as to how well Bart.
Yeah, I don't. Okay. I don't think very few people have been to that island. It's it's not one that he, as Barty, would have been to. He may have seen it, or at least his father would have seen it across the way in the distance. And obviously, this sort of floating sort of citadel that sort of appears now and again above it. It's something that's there, and people are just sort of kind of. One of the reasons the Citrarian are sort of so religious and stuff is because of this sort of this thing.
In terms of the port town that you told us about,
Garleyhold, yeah, Garleyhold.
Yeah, could Barty uses just his sage background to like work out what the the spots of knowledge there might be. Like, we could sort of go there, use it as a base of operations for, like, Brother Guidance to work out a bit more about cleansing, for example.
I was going to say, if he's going to roll for that as well, can I support him with the whatever role it is? You're also using my Sage background.
Right. So Garley Hold it's like a fortified port. It's not going to have as much. I don't like. It's not going to have. If you're looking for like big libraries and stuff like that, it won't have anything major to sort of maybe get. It's a trading. It's a fortified trading port effectively. So you're not going to get. It's not like it's going to have a big library or anything that you would maybe get in one of the big cities. So if you're trying to go there and then do some research, you may or may not find it, but.
No, I think like are we going to do this in character as opposed to us like plotting it out? Because it might be
yes. Go on, do it in character.
Barty, what are you doing? Because I feel like the cogs are turning, and we haven't discussed. Like, I see where I have an idea, but I need to hear it.
I'm weighing up the risk. I could potentially try and teleport us to the portal, but I don't really know if it exists, in which case we could end up very wet and very dead.
Yeah.
But I know a place nearby that I could take us to very safely.
Oh.
I'm just trying to work out which is
I would
the
say
wisest
that
option.
we should be looking at the one with the better chance. Better for us to skip 90% of the journey than to end up. I mean, I don't mind if I get dropped in the water. It just takes me a while to walk back to shore. You guys, on the other hand, have.
I am
more
slightly
concerns?
water intolerant.
I think Arno will be fine. He'll float.
Hygroscopic.
Yeah, he'll float.
Yeah.
So I guess, are you thinking what I'm thinking? Like this little fort town outside of the place. Well, I don't know Carelia very well. I just know maps. I guess. I don't know. There is a town. There must be a town nearby. I am thinking one town. I just don't know the name of it. Well, I don't know how to pronounce it very well. Matt, before I go into this, am I able to say just based off it, or do you want me to roll and say part? Like how do you want me to translate?
If you,
Garden
I
Hole?
would get.
Yeah.
Well, Barty can explain. He's
Yeah,
quite
I
a
can
good
just
person.
interject. You can just say like,
Yeah.
it's my father used to trade with
Garley
the old
Hold.
men. Garley Hold.
Yeah.
It's close enough. We could definitely maybe charter a boat or find a fisherman willing to try and convey us.
Or we teleport there, figure out what's going on, give us a bit of time to actually reconnoiter. Yeah, and then go there.
Teleporting.
Yeah, I think that's a much safer option than supposedly trying to, thread the needle, thread to the proverbial needle in the eye, that sort of thing. What's that? I
Plus,
don't know.
if anyone is tracking us, they'll still believe us to be here, or at least be halfway to here.
Oh
They
yes.
won't be able to track the object now that it's
Not now it's
in a
safely
different
stashed
dimension.
away in his ring. Invisible to the naked eye.
God, fucking hell.
I love character naivety.
Aaron picks up a mug and tries to drink more mead, but it's empty.
In that case, so if we're correct, then we should teleport to Garley Hold, and then from there, then we figure out what the next steps are. I would hope that you'll be able to see the Enclave from the Hold, but if it's in a completely different dimension or plane, rather, then that may complicate things. But it seems like a more reasonable shot than trying to, teleport us in there. That'd be. I think even the gods and Bahamut might scoff at us for trying to do something so foolish.
Is there any potential where we are that you might be able to get hold of a scroll for a 7th level spell, Gary? Or
you're in a big you're in a big city.
We could talk to Lady Tons, or the Empress as she is now,
Yeah.
and she may have access to resources.
I would, I reckon you could, if you want to take a wander. What is it you're specifically looking for?
I'd like to get my hands on a scroll of plane shift, just so that if the portal's not working when we do eventually get there, or we need a quick get the fuck out. Backup plan. We might have one. But it's not a deal breaker. It's just whilst we're in this like big city before we go to like the middle of nowhere.
Let me just check here. So, it's a very rare scroll. It's quite. Yeah, there's a big price. There's a big price tag on it. Okay.
Less or equal to 5,000 gold pieces.
Well, we gotta. Well,
Landra ring moment.
It's a.
Wait a second. Wasn't there one of those scrolls on one of the dead bodies from the alley?
Oh yeah, that's right. The demon just happened to drop that 50k GP scroll. Okay,
Maybe he was looking to go home in order to see his family. We just interrupted him.
Yeah,
it's basically the scroll has a range of anything from 5k to 50,000 on it. It's very roll. It's very very rare.
It's the 7th level, so it's not 13th. So probably half that. Half the maximum.
Okay, so 25.
Okay.
25. Well, obviously that's depending on who you're bartering it from and stuff. Okay, so do you want to look in? You're in taunt at the minute. Do you want to look in taunt for it, or see if you can find one?
It's probably more likely to be in.
Do you know what? I think Thomas. I think Thomas had one of those scrolls. Did Thomas?
You reckon though? I reckon the backwater fort.
You reckon the backwater fort's going to have a very rare? Yeah.
I think Arno just wants this gone. It's like, yeah, we'll find it there.
I just mean it's a fort very close to a portal that leads to another plane. That if they were, they obviously know about this portal, they might have
roll persuasion. Roll persuasion.
Me?
Yeah, roll persuasion. If that's what you're going for, you're going to try and persuade them that you don't need to faff around here. You can get there and get it there. Do you want to do some Barty, you give me a counter persuasion then, so to see if you sort of you
are all go down well.
Yeah, you're like, yeah, you're probably right. Yeah, okay, sounds legit, you know.
Barty's not that stupid. But yeah, he just nods along and he goes, "Okay, yes, I understand. Let's get going. Yes, let's not waste any more time."
I just want to say before we go, I would like to go and have a quick conversation with the Empress to let her know what's going on. With everything that's been going on of late, it seems good to make sure she's aware of where we're going because we have been acting as troubleshooters for her.
Okay.
If she has any powerful mage advisors, ask them to create a scroll of plane shift.
Arno crosses his arms and... Sorry, I thought you finished that.
No, sorry, I'm finished now.
Crosses his arms and says, I think that would be wise. But I also don't think we should be going anywhere before Tharavel comes back.
That would be my preference as well, yes. But that does mean that there is some time if Barty and the brother would like to go back to do some more research or maybe go looking for some resources they may need.
I was gonna see if there's a temple here. There should be.
There is a temple. If you're looking for the main temple, Temple Marduk is just so that it's about half a day from. There will be temples within Taunt itself, but the main sort of temple is sort of the Temple of Marduk, which is about 12 miles away.
No, he's going to look for one in Taunt because I think more than anything else, he needs to be around pious folk who churn the rumor mill. So, and temples are often a good place for sanctuary and to relieve people of burdens of knowledge that they don't necessarily clarify as wisdom. So one man's trash is another person's treasure. So that's where
out of character, I'm pretty sure also if he goes to the Temple of Marduk and tells them that he's with us, they might try and persuade him not to go back.
Given
our track record.
True.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, it will be inside Tom. So he'll find a temple there, and then kind of welcome anybody for prayer if they do want to join.
Okay. See. Okay. We'll do some quick. We'll do some. Actually, no, we'll not, because what we'll do is downtime before next week. You can do what you need to do within Taunt. You can put it in the RP chat, and then when my bro comes back next week, you can explain what's happened. You can explain what happens, what's going to happen, and then we can go on our way basically without faffing around with more, sort of stuff within Taunt itself. We can move on.
And someone can maybe look at what treasure was found on those demon bodies.
Yes, treasure and demon bodies. Oh my god, there's a scroll of plane shifting. Find up its ass.
As luck would have it.
As luck would have it. There was
hidden its ring.
They're hidden its ring.
Sorry.
God, that's
in fact. I'm gonna roll. Let me just. I've got a loot macro here. Let me loot macro you here. Let's see.
It'll be as good as the trinket table because that was class.
Yes. We're going to have treasure. Okay, so we're going to have a treasure maker, and we are going to go for, we're going to go that. So you get 200 electrum and 500 gold between yous. And you also get...
Someone, Lance, are you going to write this in the chat as usual?
I don't normally put it across. Matt usually puts it.
Yeah, that's right. I'll stick it in.
Yeah.
I'll stick it in the loot chat. We're going to have some slightly magical trinkets. We're going to go for a bit and bridle that temporarily changes the color of the horse to its purest white. We're going to have a bag of blue marbles. Each of them hums in a soft, harmonious tone when rolled. And we are going to go for a magical item within... We're going to go for this one. A staff of thunder and lightning. There you go. That's what you've got.
No plane shifts.
No plane shifts, unfortunately.
We don't need it.
Okay, I'm also going to give you a potion of clairvoyance as well. Okay, so that's your loot from the demons, and so basically RP chat, what you're going to do within Taunt before we leave, and then when Tharaval returns next week, we can go on our way to Garley Hold to see what's what, I guess. All right, anything else anybody wants to do or say before we end it? Cool beans. Right. So for tonight, I've been MacGeary. With me has been Conrad as Arnold Jerkle.
Good night.
Jace as Brother Gaddon.
Good night, people.
Lecky as Bartholomew Pringle.
Good night.
Marcus Lance.
Take it easy, everyone.
And Vic as Seren Sanguine.
Bye-bye.
Bye.